One thing's for certain, these big brown eyes ain't big for no reason. And it's funny how I've watched over the years so many individuals call themselves getting offended by the fact that I'm documenting what I perceive to be what's going on surrounding Robert Kelly and his case. What's interesting is because a lot of people fail to realize that I began documenting before there was a case, when all I began to recognize was propaganda and the same stories that had been written by Jim Darragidis told over and over, passed down on Tasha K's platform, written in this little book, and turned into a surviving R. Kelly docuseries that exposed so many inconsistent stories that I felt compelled to show the people watching me why I felt like this whole process was janky as hell, was strategic, and no matter who came on these platforms and what their perception of what's going on is, it's not going to change what I display. It's not going to change what I feel. And it's not going to change the fact that a lot of these janky ass people had Prima Donna all fucked up, considering I made it perfectly clear, unlike some of these bitches, I ain't interfering in no federal case.
Get the bag. Get the bag. Y'all niggas know what it is. You know we get the bag. Get the bag.
What? ACP, did you see this?
Look, if it ain't official Dana J, Prima Donna News, I don't even want to see it. Just take the phone.
Now, the mere fact that very early on people showed me their malicious intent, and I decided to maneuver a little differently than I observed them, whereas they come on their platforms and they just talk and give their opinions of the next person's opinions, I specifically drop receipts for those with selective amnesia that forget how we got here and how a whole lot of instigators came to this internet wanting to take over a viral conversation. However, they couldn't stay focused on the damn conversation, beefing amongst each other and then targeting select witnesses. And then every time the defense comes out with a game plan, you can see them meticulously try to debunk common sense. Now, I have yet to figure out why these people put certain individuals into position and they don't want to talk about the jankiness that I'm putting on display and how all of this shit should have either A, been handled behind the scenes, or people shouldn't be bothered revisiting the fact that there's no way these people should have been able to insert themselves with these witnesses, with the defense team, with the prosecutors, etc., etc. And everybody want to sit on this bitch and talk about the bloggers who just came out here to say, hey, someone right with surviving R. Kelly. And then to watch the whole wide world turn a blind eye to the mass corruption, all of these witnesses coming on these platforms showing inconsistencies within their so-called testimonies, so-called evidence being dispersed, so-called information being leaked, which included attorney-client confidential information, and we see how fans have merged themselves into these goofy ass plots to facilitate this bad act of bribery, primarily, in my opinion, because if you looked at the first charge of bribery, it was bullshit, starting with Demetrius Smith bribing this public official. Then you have this janky-ass John Doe allegedly trying to bribe Azriel, among the janky-ass crisis manager trying to bribe another official. And again, none of this shit is being prosecuted. All of these people are being given slaps on the wrist, immunity deals, and other bullshit ass perks. But again, nobody wants to talk about the real talking points in these viral moments to spread the information. Contrary to popular belief, the images that I made in the form of a collage were meant to trigger certain individuals. It's not going to be for everyone, but for those who witnessed the certain acts that are being put on display, who read the paperwork and know how it was being turned to be used against Robert Kelly, and how, again, nobody knows how this would have went if all these janky ass people hadn't interfered with this case, including this so-called BOP officer, Tasha K, Team Lies, and all these other janky ass fucking people trying to be relevant in a case that had nothing to do with them, while taking the focus off of all the people that should have been subpoenaed, instead of letting the people who bamboozled you thinking they came to free R. Kelly continue to play in your face, talking about a whole lot of irrelevant shit that didn't play out in the paperwork. They won't come back and retract all the lies they put out, and furthermore, show why they're dumb. Now I'll conclude this video with a couple questions, because it's always some goofy ass people that's in the comments that didn't follow the case and or follow dummies and want to come tell me something that ain't even discussed in my video. So let's make this make sense. Number one, how did Tasha K know who John Doe was? Why are people looking crazy when I'm telling you up front that people providing information to me behind the scenes is the reason why I look at all these individuals on these platforms as janky as fuck, regardless what narrative, what plot twist they want to come out with today, who they want to talk about, who commentary they want to give commentary on, is not going to change the facts. Number two, how did this so-called person go from allegedly bribing Azriel to becoming a John Doe? Why are people ignoring all of these connections that were made with people trying to write janky-ass books and other janky-ass docuseries behind the scenes in the midst of an open investigation, but look hella crazy when all of this shit exposes that clearly a lot of this shit that went on affected this case, regardless if the government wants to admit it or not. So the fact that they're jumping through hoops trying to deny that even if this information had been leaked and all these other hypothetical possibilities, they're acting like it wouldn't have changed the whole line of other witnesses we saw being gathered up, paraded on all these platforms, pimped into lying deals, other little perks behind the scenes, and we're supposed to just accept their story. Never mind, R. Kelly still has his appeal coming up. So while they're still trying to avoid admitting all of the conflict of interest, the ineffective counsel, the misconduct, corruption, etc., just a friendly reminder. I don't give a fuck what nobody thinks about the things I documented or the things I say. Because when I want to vent, you can catch me on my community wall. Have a good day.